woman is a full circle. Within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform. In a world bustling with opportunities, this 1 hour represents the story of warrior woman out there.
Yes, Naduni. Since you mentioned about warrior women, my memories went back to a quote from a book I've read called Captivating by John and Stacey Aldrich, where they have beautifully quoted that a woman is a warrior too, but she's meant to be a warrior in a uniquely feminine way. Sometimes before the sorrows of life did their best to kill it in us. Most young women wanted to be a part of something grand, something important.
Absolutely, Sasangika. Today, on board, we have impressive warrior women who have inspired, is inspiring, and will inspire with their unique feminine capabilities to enroot women's empowerment. Firstly, I would like to introduce a dear teacher, a distinguished Toastmaster, a coach, a mentor, one of the managing partners and head of training and programs of Zeal Training, Ms. Ziana Azar. Every woman was once a little girl, and every little girl holds in her heart her most precious dreams. Our next speaker is a young entrepreneur and is the founder at Allura Candy, Miss Asheni Gamage. We would like to warmly welcome all of you to Imperium Feminine, a talk show on women's empowerment. Girls start to blossom through education. This is known to be one of the most powerful weapons. Ms. Yana, with regards to women in education, is it one of the most effective ways to achieve positive, sustainable change in the world?
Good morning to all the warrior women here in this audience, and thank you so much, Nandini, for that question. Yes, as women, we are all warriors. We have conquered and achieved and been victorious in our own wars. Earlier, women were not as educated as today. So society was not giving them the opportunity to come forward. But nowadays we see all the girls are ready to study, just not get the basic education in school. They want to go beyond, not just the bachelor's, master's, PhD. You are hungry, thirsty for knowledge. Why is that? You have seen, I think, in the past few generations, not very old, but at least the immediate past few generations, you've seen ladies coming up in life. You've seen females taking up more important roles. These were all possible because most of these ladies who came up to top levels or got recognition in the society were educated. They have achieved some academic skills to come higher. So as females, we definitely have that inbuilt quality in us. We have the power of being very emotionally strong. We are very good in multitasking. We are able to see far distance. But if we are well equipped with education, that is what makes us go even further, gives us the confidence to move further. Earlier days, education, females were just restricted only for few fields. They were either housewives or teachers or nurses or very gender-based professions. But now we see females are represented in all aspects, from leading a country to leading institutions, you name it, the females are ready to take up anything. Who gave them this power? Who gave them this opportunity? It is the opportunity of studying, the education. If you look at field of education, earlier we only had few degrees, bachelors to be offered. They were very what do you say, they were very focused. They were just either medicine or engineering or law, just a few. But now we see, if you even take medicine, you have different types of degrees offered. You don't only have to become a doctor. If you are interested in science, you can be many things. And girls are pursuing, going after those degrees. And this is why they are able to represent us in every aspect, every sphere of the society. So I feel education does make a big difference.
Ms. Yana, when a woman is in a position to make a decision, or rather I would say into decision-making process, do you think they make a significant difference?
Well, like I told you before, the women or the woman in a family or in any institution, by instinct, we are born for multitasking. If you just look into your own family, if you take your parent, or if you're married, your husband, you will see that men are very strong, but they are focused towards only one goal, one vision. Whereas a woman, even if you are not a profession, as a mother or a housewife, they are really good at multitasking. They need to know what is to be cooked, how to be fed, how to take care of the children, what should be the most important decisions taken in a family also comes from the mind of a woman, because women have the great skills of planning, but they are very creative. They can think of many things at the same time. They don't only focus, their vision is not narrowed. They have a broader vision. This is because they have the power of emotion. Uh, More than the physical strength, they have the emotional strength. So they are able to look into all aspects. So when it comes to decision making, for example, if we are now I just had my daughter's wedding amidst the pandemic, right? And it was not easy. My husband was abroad. I had to do it all by myself. His focus was only to make sure that I have the financial support. Whereas I had to make all the other decisions, like from guests to where I'm having it, how to like move with this pandemic situation, accommodating to all the health guidelines. So when I see all that, I feel the woman has more ability to make decisions if she is given the opportunity to lead, because they look it in all aspects of a situation. They are very creative. They think differently, and the most important thing is they are able to multitask. I always feel they are able to think at the same time of many different things. So if the woman is given an opportunity to make decisions, I think she will do wonders.
So, ma'am, we have seen women as taxi drivers, trishaw drivers, and even in some fields of engineering, where some people say that it is not suitable for women. Though we have heard women taking this leap, somewhere the society haven't moved forward with these traditional thoughts. So, Ms. Diana, what is your view on such matters?
Well, Sasangika, to be very honest, whether it's a woman doing a man's job or a man doing a woman's job, should not be a matter of concern for any positive thinking society. Because at this moment, we should not actually look at gender equality or who is greater than whom. We should look at people in the manner, in the sense of humanity. Every individual in this world needs to be identified, respected for what they are and who they are and what they are capable of. We should be proud if a woman is ready to do all the jobs that were not once hers. Now, recently I had an online order delivered to me, and the person who was bringing it for me was a lady. And when I got the notice, I was like, wow, it's a lady coming at 11 o'clock in the night to deliver my food. I was very proud of it. And I was very proud that the women have become so brave. They have, in a society where by 7 o'clock, even everyone is inside the house thinking of all the adverse things that could happen. If a woman has the courage to come out, we as other women, especially, should be saluting that person. Unfortunately, yes, I agree. There are part of, we don't need the men. There are some women within us who may look at it in a crooked eye. See, we cannot change the world, but we can change ourselves. If one person gives applause for such women, salute them. We use the social media for so many things. We use one incident like this to show thumbs up. Definitely, no one is going. We need to, we as women, we as people who appreciate these ladies, should come up and show the people to think otherwise. Because there will always be, societies have the positive thinkers and the negative thinkers. So it is up to the positive thinkers to change the negative aspect of the other people. Show them that women also can do things. They are brave enough to become what their counterparts, the male counterparts, are doing. Now recently we've seen DIG, a female DIG, being appointed. So we need to be with her. She did have, due to social stigmas, she had her times of horror, but definitely that has been sorted out. She never put herself down, or she never gave into that. She stood bravely. So this is what is important. If that's what I told at the beginning, the ladies or the females are emotionally strong. So any lady who comes up to become a driver or a policewoman or even a conductor or a bus driver, we see that. We now see them taking up the Uber or Pick Me, becoming their drivers or taking up such position, should be applauded, acknowledged, and respected. So as people who think positively, people who look at it in a positive perspective, should enlighten the others in the society who are thinking differently. Maybe while I said, when I saw that female was bringing my food at 11 o'clock, there would have been someone else in my house thinking, what a woman, why should she go at this time? So it's up to us to say, why not? If a man can, if a woman feels strong and is brave to do that job, let her do it. Because the women are not lesser than men.
So, ma'am, isn't women about gender equality?
Sangika, I will not say we should talk about gender equality, because men are going to be men and women are going to be women, right? But we need an identity. We need to be respected, and we should be given that individuality. Rather than being cornered, we should be given that identity. Oh, she is another person in the society, not another female. She's another individual in the society who is capable of doing things. Today we are going through a pandemic. If you look at all the countries that are still suffering, we see the successful countries are led by women, isn't it? Like New Zealand and Germany, they are all led by women. So they are the men in that country are following what their female leader is saying. So that is the mindset we should have. We should not be, now when we go in for fighting as we are as equal as men, we want gender equality, that should be taken off, because men, uh, I think, naturally have that ego issue. They feel that they are the stronger one. If you see, even in your own homes, the male child will get more prominence than the female child, because they are the mothers and all the fathers. It's them. They are taking the generation name and all that. They will automatically get. So we don't want that equality. We are females. We are happy to be females, but we need that identity. We need to be respected as individual and respected and given the opportunity for our capabilities. So we must fight for our individuality and identity. We don't have to go and say we are equal as men, give us also. No, give me for what I am, not because I also want to become a man. So this should be changed in the females' minds also. We are not fighting, because for me, we cannot, any successful woman cannot come to this point, at least most of them cannot come to this point unless the males in their family or males around them give them the support. Right? Today, if I am leading an institution, that's because my husband is giving me that support to me. So I don't want to fight with him or say I am smarter than you, greater than you. It's not that. I've become greater and smarter because he also supported. Now you girls are following a degree. Aren't your father supporting you? I'm sure your male brother is supporting you. So you don't go and after you get your degree and become something, say, I am greater than you, I want to be more than you. No, this is where the rift comes in, when we go and fight for we are better than men. No, we want for the identity for what we are. Okay. I hope that answered your question, Sasagika.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now I would like to move to our next speaker, Ms. Asheni Gamage. Ma'am, do you have a similar perspective as Ms. Diana? Or is your point of view different when it comes to gender equality in the field you're being involved?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for having me on this show. And I'm glad to be part of this show. So yeah, with your question on gender equality, so I'll begin like this. So we live in a generation where there's no such thing as, boy or girl. And gender really doesn't matter. And I'm so glad to see a lot of women coming forward today with their talents. So my belief is that there's nothing a woman can't achieve today if she really puts her 100% into it. And gender equality when it comes to a business perspective is definitely important, because it will definitely help the business grow, and also help, as she said, like women are more creative, and we happen to think out of the box. So it will also help the business to make better decisions. And ultimately, the workplace can become a more cohesive and productive workplace.
Ms. Asheni, when it comes to the bigger picture, women have set limitations in our society. As a young entrepreneur, how did you overcome these and become what you are today?
I think that comes with a lot of self-confidence also, because it is a very important topic for every woman these days. So the past couple of months, I've personally had a problem this year, and I've been in a very dark place in my life. But then I thought to myself, how long am I going to stay in this dark place? So I have two choices. Either I'm going to retain in this dark place, or I'm going to just, come out of my box and think out of the box, and put all that energy and effort into my business. And that's when I got this opportunity to work with WH, which is a business run by Indie to help small businesses. So my advice is, no matter what you go through in life, you always have a choice. As a woman, you have a choice always. You can either break through it and somehow achieve your goals, or you can think that life is over for you from there onwards.
So when it comes to an entrepreneur, as you said, definitely leadership and self-confidence, they might have a huge role to play. So how have these two traits been essential in your journey?
Yeah, I think I spoke about self-confidence in the previous point. But when it comes to leadership, I always try to have a very close relationship with my workers, because I think that is very important, because employee satisfaction is everything. So if they are not satisfied, they won't give their 100% and they could just leave me at any point. So I try to always be a good leader to them, and I try to guide them whenever they do something wrong. And yeah, I try my best to be a better leader.
So when talking about women empowerment in Sri Lanka, one of the most prominent icon and a sensational example is Miss Senela Jayasuriya. She, who is the founder and CEO of Women Empowered Global, is an award-winning international keynote speaker and certified transformation coach, a renowned corporate and business trainer, and a dynamic motivator specialized in growth acceleration and goal setting. She has worked with over 15,000 professionals and organizational teams to date. Ms. Senela has trained teams from the World Bank, United Nations, and Fortune 500 companies, multinationals, as well as small and medium enterprises. She has been interviewed and featured on panels and talk shows, magazines, and podcasts in the United States, UK, Norway, Germany, Switzerland, Singapore, Africa, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Australia. Ms. Senela is a contributor and featured with a dedicated chapter after her in the Amazon best-selling book, Women Going Global, which was released in 2020 November during Entrepreneurship Week USA and featured in the US Presidential Magazine with the White House on June 2021. Let us now hear her perspective with regards to women's empowerment.
Hi, everyone. I'm Senela Jayasuriya, founder and CEO, Women Empowered Global. I'm very excited to give this short speech today because I want to acknowledge the wonderful young talent pool that we have today in this very special gathering as we celebrate women and the empowerment of women in Sri Lanka. So coming back to something that I wanted to speak to you about today at my address is specifically on a topic that I think we need to address, especially among young women, our future leaders who are here before me. And that is this. I want to today share with you some thoughts around the importance of economic independence and financial independence for women as women. I think it was the United Nations that had once cited that give or take 60% of the population that is below the poverty line in the world are women and children. 60%. Now, in terms of looking at empowering women economically, from a necessity point of view, increasing the female employment rate is a boost to a country's GDP. We already know that. Having a gender gap costs the economy some 15% of GDP. There is more data here I have, women remain less likely to participate in the labor market than men around the world. The labor force participation of women are much lower when you compare that to of men. So what I want to tell you is this. It is my view that all women, we work. Only some of us are salaried. I'm talking about the work that we put in to motherhood, to parenting, the household duties, commitments, obligations. It's women. We're working. We're doing homework. We're making sure the household is clean. The children are looked after. That is work. And women carry and shoulder that responsibility at home. Because of the gender roles you see culturally, it is the men who are expected to be the economic provider and the lead in the household. And from a humanitarian point of view, I think the idea, the notion of sticking to gender roles and saying, because of your gender, you can't do this, because of your gender, you ought to do that, in a very ironic sense, is in fact very counterproductive. Because you're actually limiting and imposing shackles and limitations on individuals based on gender, on the basis of gender. And I think that ideology gives us a very depleting premise for growth, for progress, as a household, as a community, as an economy. So coming back to two ways, as future leaders, these young women who have gathered in this conference, I'm going to present you two ways that I want you to start thinking about in terms of growing your own economic and financial independence as women, as young women. So there are two avenues. One is, of course, as you know, those of you who want to start a business, have an idea to start a business, it's about being self-employed. It's about starting your own little business. It could be a small business. You could go out there being a small business owner. You know, there's a sequence, there's a process, and you know, you can get your foot in the ocean and see what that feels like before you dive in and take a swim. So you start with a small business, that is self-employment, where you are your own boss. All right. Another way to earn is by looking for employment. You work for someone else. You apply for jobs. And all of you in the room are very familiar with how to do that and what that entails. So you apply for a job. That's another way. So you have entrepreneurship, which is all about self-employment as women. And you also have seeking employment, which is all about being an employee. And that's fine. You know, I remember in hindsight, looking back and thinking, when I started my career, I started working for someone else. That was my first job. And I remember I also, funnily enough, my journey with entrepreneurship began when I was about 20, 21 years old. And or 23, I think. Anyway, it was between 21 or 20 to about 22. I ran a very successful company, and that company was into recruitment at the time, and talking about eons ago, right? Eons back. And it was very successful. I didn't know business. I didn't speak the language, but I was very good on intuition. I was very good on self-discipline, and I was very heavy on vision and purpose, because that's exactly what I was after. And I was always ambitious as a young girl. When I was your age, I was always ambitious. I didn't necessarily know the how, but I had a very fierce spirit about the why. I knew something must be done. I knew I wanted to change the world. I had no idea how. It took me a long, long time of reasoning and experiencing through trial and error, through prayer, and really coming to a conclusion, this is what I must do, and hence fast forward to that today. So coming back to my point, after my little stint with entrepreneurship, I thought, right, now I have this experience, I've raised this income, it's great, it's a wonderful thing. But I also want to expand my skill set. I want to learn from others. And I think that's a vital mindset to have. Never think you're too qualified to keep learning. Never think you know it all to keep learning. You need to keep learning. That's the biggest life lesson. One of the biggest life lessons I will tell all of you right now. Do not forget that. So you have to keep learning and be ready and open to learn from anybody. It can be anybody. So then I went into corporate and I started working for big companies. I started working for small companies, and then I progressed on to big companies. And that's point number 2 about mindset. Being willing to start from a point that will serve you and add value to you. It doesn't have to be that pinnacle job, that big flashy brand name or consumer brand that you want to be a brand manager. I want to enter the job market as a manager. I'm after an MBA. That mindset is going to deter you from really going after opportunities in your life that have been designed for you, that are destined for you to truly grow, for you to truly be challenged and test your attitude towards life. And I remember, so I started the ladder very, very young, right at the bottom, and then I had to progress in my career. And so I want to just present to you this notion, end of the day, for the world, how the world perceives time is this: time equals money, and money, to obtain money, equals sacrifice. In order to obtain money, you need to make a sacrifice. So time equals money, and money equals sacrifice. If there's an opportunity cost for everything, isn't it? Now, when it comes to women, that parallel gets a little bit more complex. Here's why. For a woman, time doesn't equal money. For a woman, time equals sacrifice. I'll tell you why. For a lot of the cultures, to give time to a job or a business means direct sacrifice for a woman, for her family or her home. That is the gender role bias. But you think about a man earning, you say, oh, he's earning because he's going to produce money. He's going to produce results. But you think about a woman earning, and immediately your mind is, oh, what is that opportunity cost? She's probably sacrificing something really heavy, probably her family and her children, because she has decided to work. Now, that is perception. It is a gender stereotyping mindset. It is a gender bias. It's called gender bias. And defining people's capability and contributions and judging people based on the basis of gender. So this is why we're here today. If you really want to know what it means and takes to empower women, it's to acknowledge that a woman's right is a human right. It's to acknowledge that women are already strong. But how can we as a society and as independent agents around the world come together and remember that it is not her, but rather it is our own perception about her strength and power. And the reaction of that, the resistance of that holds her back. Right? I want you to remember that. And I want to close with this. I remember this example I came across to my point about when it comes to a woman, there are so many layers when it comes to earning. It's always about, oh, there's this conundrum, you can't earn, you can't be a good mom, you can't work while, being a mother, you have to select, but you have to choose. But there's a CNN reporter that once said, I go to work and work hard, knowing that going to work is also taking care of my babies. I'll repeat that. The CNN reporter at an interview, she said, I go to work and work hard, knowing that going to work is also taking care of my babies. Now you tell me, that's a matter of perspective. And I applaud women like that. I'm a mother, and I'm a working mother, and I'm very determined to support the initiatives that give women the opportunity to be themselves, to explore choices, to make contributions, to play a significant role in transformation of business, of policy, of economy. Women matter. The girl child matters. And unity above all else. We need to be united. If you really want transformation, we are in this journey together. Men, women, together, equality, and let's move forward. So that is my message for today. And as I wrap up, I want to wrap up with two quotes. I really love this quote. My favorite quote, both of these are by Diane Mary Child. The first one is, a woman is the full circle. Within her is the power to create, to nurture, and transform. And finally, trust that still small voice that says, this might work, and I'll try it. This might work, and I'll try it. You know, so I'm so excited for you as you continue today's conference. Remember to take notes, be vigilant, and look in the mirror when you go home today. And I want you to smile back at the reflection, that face that's looking at you, the reflection in the mirror. You know why? Because she's beautiful. And I want you to remember to be your own best friend, to be your greatest ally, and love yourself. That is your superpower. To appreciate yourself, to love yourself. The day you do that, you open yourself to abundance so that you can love others more. You can give others more. You can serve others more. And what is life if we cannot serve others? So with that, my young female leaders, I commend you for today's gathering, and I wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Ms. Senala Jayasuriya, for those inspirational thoughts. I'm sure this motivational perspective of yours will inspire millions of individuals out there. Now, coming back to our talk show, present-day women get employed mainly for financial independence. Ms. Yana, is financial independence really the only key, or is it the first step to a larger course of empowerment?
Yes, Nandini, I think we just watched a beautiful video from Miss Senala Jayasuriya, and I think she addressed all these very well also. And I totally am in agreement. I think she even said things that I told before we watched her speech, right? Yes. So this is what women in power think, that we need our identity. We have that thing in us. Yes, nowadays women, like you told about the three-wheel drivers and all those people. Why have they come there? Because it can be the prime concern is the money. Some women are compelled to come forward for the purpose of earning that extra bit of money and supporting their families. So money can be the main source. But money is not the only source. It's not just the financial stability. Women come forward. We see that there are lots of entrepreneurs who are very rich women. Their husbands are able to support them and give them everything they want. But they are doing something. There may be doctors, lawyers, or any other profession who are well off in life, financially very stable. But why are they coming forward? It's not just about money. It's about respect for them. They need that identity. They need to be respected as individuals. Now, if a mother is able to take care of the family and then go out to work, she's earning the respect from the family. She's getting the support from her husband and children and the other relatives. People look at her with respect. They look up to her. So automatically a female's self-esteem, the confidence, everything boosts up. She's able to become even more stronger. So maybe the main source can be finance. It can be wanting to be financially. So when a female has lot of kind of negative impact on her, or there are a lot of what do you say, people are against her or families against her, but if she is financially independent and stable, she can fight her own wars. She can stand strong against people who talk negatively about her. That is one main aspect, but it revolves around many other things. It gives her the self-respect, it gives her the identity, and she will be a great inspiration to other women who are oppressed. And there is, like Senela said, there is, especially in these third world countries, more than the Western countries, where we look into gender difference, that gap is very huge. So for people who come out, spring out, the females who spring out are going to be great role models for other female to come up. When they see a successful three-wheel driver, another female will come up. If she can, why not me? Right? So it can be for the purpose of money they come out, but what they gain by becoming successful is much more than what money can give. Therefore, I think it is, they gain a financial independence, but beyond financial independence, they get more stronger strength to move forward, and they will be a great inspiration. Today, if you are looking at women, why are you picking certain people? Because you're looking at women who have succeeded in some way in life, and they are an inspiration. Today, you two girls are an inspiration to your fellow other graduates or other female students. If the younger students, they see you, they are going to say, oh wow, they can do it, why not me? So we who have the opportunity, have to come forward, support our own people. And we need to get the support of the male counterparts also. Like, we are not in a war here, whether we are males and females. We need to work together, and we need to individually come up, not as man or woman, but as individuals. Another person in the society is what is important.
I think our next speaker is having a small connection issue. Until that, we will move forward. So, Ms. Yana, we would like to know, like, finally, like, before ending the session, we were supposed to ask this before ending the session, but since Ms. Asheni is not here, in between, I'll ask you this question. Do you think we can be satisfied or happy on how women are being empowered these days in Sri Lanka?
It's very, very subjective, Nandini. I think if we look at the social frames we are living in, and it depends on each person's perspective. Like, if you feel, now I feel I'm very happy, I feel very satisfied that I am given the recognition, I'm given the empowerment. But then in Sri Lanka, like I said, we have a huge gap in the society. We have the traditional thinkers and the non-traditional thinkers. Still, we have people who think professions are gender-oriented, the males should be given the more prominent task, while the females have to do lesser, take up lesser positions. that is still there in certain areas. Now we saw what happened to the female DIG who was appointed. She was not given her due appointment immediately, but she fought for it, isn't it? Right? So there is one part of the society which is ready to recognize and accept the females and give them the proper recognition and empowerment. Whereas another part which is still in primitive thoughts think that no, always the women should be playing second fiddle to the man. So we should not, the women in this society should not give in to that. Because we see now, if you take the health sector, the cabinet of ministers in Sri Lanka, the most important role at this situation, in a pandemic situation, the minister, the two portfolios for health is handled by two ladies, two females. But are they given the power to make the decisions? See, in our scenario, we've given the women the power and tied their hands and feet and are not giving them the real empowerment. They are put in position, but decisions are made from another aspect. So they don't give their full potential. This is because the culture we are living in, the way we look at things, whereas if it was in another Western country, things would have been different. It would have been totally different. Like I told, if we take New Zealand or Germany, people have accepted the female, accepted her decisions. But here, though there are women in powerful positions, they don't have the final call, isn't it? That is because how we are looking at in our society. So it is up to the present generation and the future females and also your male counterparts. Now you will have definitely male students studying with you. They have to change. We have to have that paradigm shift and think of all their colleagues also equally. Not look at a colleague as, she's a female, he's a male, so he should be more powerful than she. So you all can do it. This generation can create that. Look at it in a broader sense. Look at it differently. So then at least the future will change. And you all have very great influence power even towards your parents or older people. Now people are listening, unlike the oldest generation where they were very stubborn and they thought they knew everything, right? Nowadays, like you go and tell your father or mother and you tell it in a way, how you say it is very important. You make them understand, they respect, they take your views. So you can do it. With the political scenario, we should not be discussing it, but hopefully things will change and we will have more democracy where we can talk, we can voice our opinion, and women, if they are empowered, will use their power in full. Whereas at this moment, I think we give the woman the power and then there is another source pulling the reins and making her not make her own decision. Another person's action or decision is channeled through the women in power. So that is the current situation in Sri Lanka where a political aspect is concerned. But if you look at individuals, you see how many people have come up, the females, especially during this pandemic. They have come up. Now when men were losing their jobs or men were going down in their business, how many food businesses have come up? How many people have come up with so many ideas? I've seen so many females starting on their clothing business. There are so many things the woman can do. So they are coming up with all those things. So when you take it as a family or an individual unit, those women are given the empowerment, they come up. But if you look at it in a public sense or a wider perspective, because of society's influence, the women are not, especially women in public service, are not given that full power to power. They are vested. They are not given that power to speak up. They are not given the power to do what they want. They have controls, the women in public service, whereas the women in their own private institutions, they are doing a wonderful job. I think they are springing up, they are coming up. The females like you all are coming up. So there's going to be a paradigm shift. It is already happening. And women are becoming more and more powerful and gaining more recognition in the society. So this will definitely keep changing. And there will be a time very soon where there is not going to be a gender comparison. I hope, and I'm sure that will happen. And it's all in our hands.
So they say women's, since we're talking about women's health and empowerment, they say it's a key to a better world. So what is your opinion on that?
Yes, of course. Like I told you, when a woman is in, now just take the example of New Zealand. Now we see that when the Prime Minister there came up, they even had a huge incident where there was a massacre in a mosque, and immediately there could have been a lot of racist violence and everything. But she worked very well. She was very calm. She was cool, and she made sure peace prevailed in that country, right? So then they were very good in controlling even the pandemic situation. Now they are one of the countries who have successfully confronted the COVID pandemic. So the woman has the ability, like I told you, she is emotionally strong. Maybe not physically strong, men can be physically strong, but we are emotionally strong. I just know last week we lost a dear friend, a dear, very close friend of ours due to COVID. She was the only daughter to parents and to lovely parents, and for the parents the life revolved around this girl, but the father is still not able to come get to terms with it. Mother, though the loss is huge, is able to endure the pain and move forward to think what's next, right? So the woman has that power. She has the power of endurance. She's emotionally strong. She has the intelligence to look at things in different perspective. Now she will know, as a mother in a family, she will know what the husband wants, what one child wants, what the other child wants, and she'll be able to cater to everyone and keep the family as a unit. So if a woman is able to do that in a family, she is capable of doing that for an institution or a society, a community or a country, or even to the whole world. So just that she needs the recognition, she needs her identity, and people have to accept her in that role and give her that opportunity to prove herself. If opportunity is not given, you take it. We don't blame the society. We should not say we are not given. If we go forward, nothing will happen. We should not be doing that. We should grab the opportunity. We should fight for our rights, not for asking, give us as equal rights as the male, but to show, prove our talent. And we are definitely capable of taking the world forward. We have that strength in us.
Thank you.
I hope it answered your question, Sasangika.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
An empowered woman is powerful beyond measures and beautiful beyond description. Before winding up the session, I would like to give the opportunity to Sasangika to thank the audience.
Thank you, Naduni. Ms. Yana and Ms. Asheni, it was an absolute pleasure having you with us today. As budding women, we got to know a massive, priceless information regarding women's empowerment. A heartfelt thank you for spending your valuable time with us to acknowledge and spread awareness on this topic. On behalf of my team, I would like to wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. I would like to extend my heartiest gratitude to Ms. Senela Jayasuriya and her secretary and coordinator, Ms. Sharon, for the support they gave in making this event more successful. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the high management of Horizon Campus for allowing us with the permission in conducting this event, as well as our supervisor, Mr. Madisha Pasangunawardana, for his immense support and guidance to bring the best out of this event. None of this would have been possible if it weren't for the team members. A sincere thank you to all the team members for their support. Over to you, Nandini.
Thank you, Sasangika. We would like to sum up this event with a small inspirational poem. She is a woman, a human with a voice that makes the mountains move at her command. She is a person with the strength to carry the stars. And when she is doubted by others, she laughs and lifts the universe with one hand. Thank you and have a pleasant day ahead.